As a vampire hunter, you have dedicated most of your life to ensuring the destruction of the creatures of the night. So when information reached you that a vampiric cult had found the tomb of a powerful vampire and intended to release them, you decided to do everything in your power to stop it. Gathering a group of hunters, you tracked down the cult to the tomb where the creature was said to rest. However, it was quickly made clear to you that it was a trap. But before you could warn your companions, you were captured, bound, and tortured. You were forced to watch as one by one their blood was given in an attempt to resurrect this creature, and eventually it was your turn. The first slash of the ceremonial dagger was painful, and you watched as a stream of scarlet poured from your arm to join that of your companions. You waited for the second, but it never came. And mere moments later, you felt the presence of the vampire holding you disappear. Surveying the room, you watched as a blur went from vampire to vampire, systematically taking them out, their blood mixing with that of your comrades, and for the first time, you were exposed to a vampire that you were afraid of. And once the cult was dealt with, he took a few deep breaths, gathered himself, and turned to you. Okay. That's not how I expected to be woken up. Hell, I didn't expect to be woken up at all. Look at this mess. Who are you? What are you doing here? You don't appear to be one of them. Elevated, but definitely still alive heartbeat. You don't appear to be branded either. So what are you doing here? Hello? I'm talking to you. What are you doing here? Look, I don't have time for... Whoa. Easy. I'd watch where you point that thing, especially if you want to keep that arm. Look, if I wanted to hurt you, you would have been hurt. Put the dagger down, and let's talk. Like civilized, sentient creatures. Okay? Good. So, what are you doing here? You're a hunter. Well, it's good to see that old woman's group of genocidal maniacs are still around. Then again, if this is the type of nonsense my kin have been up to, maybe it's a good thing you are. Speaking of which, do you mind explaining to me what exactly is going on here? I mean, cloaks, weird masks, an overly ornate dagger. Also, it's not this often this much blood goes to waste outside of one of the Duchess's parties. But even vampires would avoid throwing a party in a place like this. A ritual? What, pray tell, was this ritual for? to... wait. To resurrect me? Okay, that is ridiculous. I mean, what? Of course I find this ridiculous. You don't get it? Okay. Then tell me, what do you know about this place? Or more specifically, the vampire clan that owns it? Nothing. Well, to put it lightly, my former clan weren't exactly the best when it came to dealing with other vampires. And I can already tell you that none of these people are part of that clan. So either they, much like you, had no idea who this place belonged to, came poking around, found my coffin, and decided there was something in there worth having, no matter the lengths they had to go to, or they knew all too well and were hedging their bets that whoever was inside would be more tolerable of them than most of us. What do I mean? Well, like I said, my clan's relations with other vampires weren't the best. In fact, I'd be pretty confident in saying we've put just as many of our own kind in the ground as your organization has. The second reason that's so very funny to me is that they were here to resurrect me. But I wasn't dead. That coffin was covered in wards and charms that I designed. I could have left that coffin anytime I wanted to. That's not something dead people really get a chance to say, now is it? Why was I in there? Well, that's a long story, and a wound that for me is still too fresh to be exposed, especially to someone who, under normal circumstances, would be trying to kill me, so forgive me if I keep it to myself. What was I doing in there then? Well, what do vampires normally do in coffins? I was sleeping. Yes, sleeping. Or, more specifically, I was in a coma. I starved myself until my mind shut down and I fell into a deep trance. That was... What year is it? What? Man, that is a long time. I wonder how the world's changed. How many of us survived. Anyway, that took months of preparation. And these fools undid all of it. Well, at least enough of it for me to regain consciousness, be consciously exposed to that much blood, and, well, you saw the rest. In fact, if not for some of my charms, we more than likely wouldn't be having this conversation right now. But that's neither here nor there. I'm awake now, so no real point in getting too beat up over it. Huh? Can't I just go back to sleep? Dear Hunter, I wish I could, but it's not that simple. Those charms and wards were put in place to keep me unconscious. Even in the presence of blood, had some of those wards not been broken, I would have laid there stiff as a board. But again, thanks to these fools, well, besides, I didn't put them there. They were by my design, yes, but the person who put them there was an old friend. Someone who, by now, was resting in their own coffin. But unlike me, they don't have the luxury of being able to get up. So with that, there's no point in me sticking around here. I'm gonna go and... Why are you looking at me like that? You can't let me leave. Oh, and why not? Look, I get it. You're a hunter and I'm meant to be your prey or quarry or whatever. But come on. Look at you. I mean, you and your friends came here and were captured by this group of fledglings. I mean, most of these guys probably hadn't been vampires longer than a decade. And also, other than that dagger, you don't have any weapons on you. And I doubt they would have been carrying around something that they could have used to kill another vampire. But you still have to try, huh? Look, if you truly want to do this, I won't stop you. I can only promise you that I'll make it quick. No matter how much you try not to allow that. However, I'm leaving this place, one way or another, and I'm giving you the chance to do the same. Besides, don't you think your chances of survival will be a lot better when you've rested and buried your friends and had time to think and get some actual weapons on your side? Good. Once again, you show that you can see reason. I'm gonna go. See you around, Hunter. There's nowhere I can hide. Hunter, you'll know where to find me. Trust me, it'll be a lot easier than you think it will. Ekyal conta ben, dear Hunter. As you watch the vampire leaving the tomb, one question continued to plague your mind. A question that you felt insane for asking. The question of why were you still alive? This is a vampire that by his own admission hadn't eaten in who knows how long, who had starved themselves and locked themselves away. And in the face of a fresh meal, had simply turned and left. Looking towards the coffin, you saw a symbol. It had been mostly scratched out, but you could still somewhat see it. The symbol of a red bird with a black cross on its chest. The symbol for the house of the Scarlet Crow. And now you had more questions that needed answers. Tending to your wounds as best you could, you exited the tomb, heading towards the nearest village. You would head to the archives and get your answers there. And then you would track down this vampire and do to him what you had done to so many before.